Welcome, everyone, to another installation of our NFL DFS strategy and lineup builds. We're heading into week 6. The boy Q, aka Young Moolah, and we are gentle and blissful, gifted and beautiful, generous and benevolent, and most appreciatively grateful and blessed. GAB Sports Guidelines to Achieve and Build. Thanks for tuning in. Go ahead and please subscribe to our channel. We thank you for your support. Come along for this journey because it's going to be a doozy. We're going to make us some money. So we want to start off. We're going to also do a little review of our week 5, see how we fared. Had some mixed results, some good, some bad. And so we'll go ahead and get to that shortly. But something I wanted to touch on first is that I'm going to start with a little segment that I'm going to title Forget What You Thought. Okay? So we're going to forget about all our biases that we had and that some of us would like to hold on to, especially some of us best ballers. I'm talking to myself and as well when I say this. So you preach to the choir. Eh? So basically we want to revisit many of our thoughts and our positions that we had heading into this season, because sometimes it's hard to let go of those positions because we want to be so right, so bad that, you just want to hold on to those positions. But I'm here to tell you, forget what you thought, okay? It's not about what you thought before. It's about what's happening now in order for us to go forward and make some money out here, okay? So what you talk about, Willis, is what I'm telling you. All this now, I don't mind being wrong on a tape if I hold a position. I'm gonna live with it, win, lose, or draw, because I'm accountable for what I do. But I also don't hold on to these things for too long if I know that it's not really benefiting me in the long run. So with that, one of the first things that I wanted to talk about, as far as some of these things that you should just forget, hey, you might have been wrong about this. Hey, number one, those Ohio State receivers are the truth. Okay, I'm talking to Mika Egbuka, JSN, Jackson Smith and Jigga, and we're looking at also Garrett Wilson. So there's many people that believed in these guys. Yeah, I'm sure they are. But some of us, including myself, had some reservations on some of these guys of how good they really are. But I'm here to tell you right now, these dudes are the truth, like top elite wide receivers, just bar none. So just accept it. We need to all just accept this fact and just go on and allow these guys to help us make some money. Accept that. All right. That's number one. Number two, there's a couple of guys that a lot of people, including myself to some degree, although I was really high on one of these guys, but I wasn't high on the other. I'm not going to really discuss which one it was, but I'm just going to give you two examples of two guys who a lot of people, overwhelmingly majority of people had a lot of doubts about heading into this season. Oh, yeah, your boy Javonte Williams is back. Yeah, looking explosive, looking like his rookie year, Javonte Williams, yeah, for the Dallas Cowboys. And so let's not hold on to any biases any longer, how we thought he was dusty and a scrub and not that good. No, the boy is ripping it up, and he's looking great doing it. Running long runs, running over people, scoring touchdowns. Yeah, Javonte Williams is back. Another guy who's back, Stephon Diggs. Yeah, no matter what we thought about his injury, he's getting older. He's on the handling drugs, doing all this kind of wild stuff off the field. Yeah, your boy Stephon Diggs is back, putting up numbers, catching that ball. PPR demon, right? So that's another position that we just need to accept, right? These dudes are back. They're priced pretty reasonably. So always keep these guys in mind when you're building your lineups moving forward. These are the kind of dudes that can help you win some money. Okay, the next thing we need to talk about is a couple of guys who are really legit now, there was questions before, but now you can't question these guys no more. Travis Etienne, this guy's legit. Yeah, Travis Etienne doing his thing. Has a pretty good role there in Jacksonville. Let's go ahead and hand him his flowers. Another guy, Quentin Johnston. Yeah, that QJ that used to just not be able to track the ball thrown over his head, the guy would have all these drops. No, he's ripping it up. Give him his flowers. These guys are producing at a high level. Let's go ahead and take the time to acknowledge that. And more importantly, let's take the time to ride these players right now. They're not really that expensive, right? Let's go ahead and ride these dudes. These are the kind of guys that can make us a lot of money. Another guy, I'm going to tell you, J.K. Dobbins is legit. J.K. Dobbins is really, really good. I don't know what we thought before, or I don't really care, because what you're talking about, Willis, it's time to let all that go. There's some guys out here that want to hold on and wish cast for some of these rookies. They want to just wish catch. Oh, Scatterbo, you just want him to be good. Well, right now, the jury's still out on Scatterbo, R.J. Harvey, Travion Henderson, Caleb Johnson. The jury's out on these dudes. They're not that impressive to me right now. It's a fact. Whereas the rookies that are just ripping it up, who we need to ride like we trying to win the Preakness, yeah, Genty. Yeah, your boy Genty, even on a bad team. Ride him. Quinshawn Judkins. Yeah, you thought he was an abuser. You thought he was a troublemaker. No, he's just a baller. Running his tail off for the Cleveland Browns. This dude is running like a star, man. Don't get it twisted. Quinshawn Judkins is to be ridden right now. Yes, I'm about to try to ride off into some money with Quinshawn Judkins. And Marion Hampton, yeah, he just got hurt. We know. But that game that he put up a couple weeks ago, woo, I mean, yeah, this dude is running like a horse. So when he comes back, don't hesitate. If his price is right, ride this dude. And lastly, maybe the best top 2-3 running back in this rookie class out of the 7th round, straight out the South. Yeah, I'm talking about JCM, Lil Bill. Lil Bill is legit. This dude is a stud. Don't try to think, he's not a high draft pick. He's this or that. He went from this small school, whatever you want to keep thinking. No, this dude is a star in the NFL, star in the making. Get in right now while you can. Yeah, he's not on this slate. Let's go ahead, get in right now on Lil Bill. He's going to win you some money. Get what you thought. All right. So we missed on quite a bit of stuff last week. And as far as there was information that came out, and I didn't really react properly myself to this information because I knew there was going to be a lot of news, as stated in my stream last week. I knew there would be a lot of news that we would have to decipher, right? Because there was just so many injuries, throughout the league, and this was going to impact a lot of our decisions. And I didn't really react all that well or correctly, I'd say, to some of this news. And it ended up costing me because didn't really do fare too well over here on DraftKings. So I'll show you an instance where I got close to a reaction that should have been correct, but it just didn't quite work out. So if we look at this lineup, this went into a large field GPP, is like about 100K entries, right? So that's considered a large field. And our strategy last week was basically, I didn't think there would be a lot of points scored during this slate, so I wanted to kind of go concentrate it on a few games, a few stacks, and kind of overstack some things, right? And worked out a little bit. And I'll show in a second how some of it did work. But there was some news that came out that we really should have capitalized on. It was there for the taking. And I'm so upset that I missed this. And that was the Seattle versus the Tampa Bay game, which was in the late slate of the games, 1 o'clock, 1:25 games here on the West Coast, which is the late slate. So that Seattle-Tampa Bay game had a lot of information that came out that should have been utilized on our part to our advantage. And that was these defenses were really banged up. They had some key injuries, especially in the secondary on both sides of the ball here. Jamel Dean was out for the Tampa Bay. He's their top corner. Also for the Seattle Seahawks, they had their top corner Devin Witherspoon as far as well as their top safety. Julian Love was also out. There was no reason why we shouldn't have tried to capitalize on that, especially with the Tampa Bay side also having Bucky Irving now. You knew they probably needed to throw the ball quite a bit, right? So that was something that we can't continue to miss these kinds of things when they're presented to us, because that's an opportunity. Opportunity was there to be had to have a big score, because this game needed the right correlation, which I was close to having, right? Because if you look at this lineup, I mean, I did think about this game a little bit. I just didn't capitalize on all the nuances that I needed to. But the best start to this lineup would have been, or the best correlation to this lineup came out to be Sam Darnold, JSN, and AJ Barner tight end, right? And you run back with Egbuka. If you had those four pieces, those were four winning pieces that you could take down some things with, right? And that was, but instead, I did have the quarterback, receiver, tight end of Seattle, but I didn't have the right pieces, right? I had Sam Darnold, JSN, and Elijah Arroyo. And then I ran it back, not with Egbuka, but I ran it back with Godwin, right? And then I added the other pieces of the Detroit game there late. So this was a late game lineup that I put in the main event. The main slate was all late games, and I was close to hitting something here, but I just didn't put it all together, right? If I put Chase in instead of Amon-Ra, and maybe throw in an earlier player for Higgins, like a Shaheed who I was on, maybe we get there. But this is kind of process that we got to go review of what went wrong, of where we think we can fix going forward. And the main thing we want to take out of this is reacting to news properly when you get it. So once that news presents itself, you got to take advantage of it. So we didn't, and it shows that we got 138 point lineup, which wasn't going to do anything last week. Okay, so that's done, and we won't make that mistake again, right? Okay, and the next thing we want to look at is another lineup. This was actually a good lineup. This was our best lineup. So again, we had our strategy of doing an overstack of games, right? And that was kind of going to be our theme for last week. Well, this one did work out to some degree. It was my best lineup. I mean, there was a ton of points. You needed about 240, 235 to take anything down. I got 205 points in this lineup with the Tua stack of that Carolina Miami game. And we went with a Tua triple, right? Tua plus Achane, Waddle, and Waller, which did pretty well for us other than Achane. And then I ran it back with Dowdle and Tetaroa, which, mixed success, right? Because Dowdle did his thing, but Tetaroa did not. So there was a way for this lineup to, kind of get there if we a couple things fall our way, So I'm not mad at this lineup. I did have Egbuka, and I'm on Raw in the late slate of games to try to finish off strong. Maybe we go Egbuka, JSN, right? And that gets us there a little closer. So those are the kind of things that, we need to also pat ourselves on the back when we're on to something that's pretty good. And the overstacks or the onslaughts, that wasn't a bad idea, even though it didn't work quite to the degree that I thought. The thought process that it would be a low-scoring slate, which it wasn't. And the onslaughts are usually good on those low-scoring slates. So maybe we can apply that thought process and that strategy this week. Who knows? Okay, so let's go ahead and do a lineup this week. Okay, so which contest we want to get in? Let's do a 3-max build. All right, so one of my 3 maxes, we can jump in this $3 triple option 3-max. So we look at the number of entries, 8,000 entries roughly. Again, winnable. That's how I view these. Winnable. All right. So one of the things that I'm looking at this year is this week 6, is I have a really tight player pool this week, even tighter than last week, which is starting to shrink already. But this week, my backs, maybe 6 backs at most, I will use throughout my 25 lineups or so. Yeah, we're concentrated this week. I've already identified the backs I like, and it's going to be very, very hard for any back to crack this core of players that I like. And go ahead and put at least two of them in here that I'll show you. So one of the stacks and games that I'm looking at, which may be undervalued, and I think that even though this is a 3 max, I still think you need to have an angle sometimes that can give you an edge at an 8K field. And I think this stack has a lot of potential to score some points. And so it's not something that I'm just pulling out of my butt to think that, hey, let me try to be contrarian or anything. I don't know how contrarian actually will be, but I know that I like this stack myself. And so I don't see it right here. Let's go ahead and change the page. There it is. It's an early game still. Yeah. We're going to go to this New Orleans, New England game there down in the dirty South in the New Orleans. And we'll go ahead and roll with a stack from this game. We're starting off with a Drake May stack. Yeah. In fact, we're going to add the tight end, which is Hunter Henry. How much is Diggs here this week? Diggs is 58. We want to roll with Diggs here, or do we want to roll with a cheaper guy, Butte? Got 3 targets, so you're basically looking for a home run from this guy. All right, I'll decide on that in a second. But there is a guy who I do want to play in this lineup, and that would be Shaheed. Yeah, I like Shaheed over Olave. Olave is one of those Ohio State receivers that hasn't quite lived up to the hype yet, but maybe he gets there. He and Marvin Harrison, those 2 of those Ohio State receivers, where the other guys are studs now already. These guys are still feeling their way, but they make it there. So I like to play Shaheed usually more often than I do in Olave because of these big play potential. Look for that spike week like he had last week, 24 fantasy points. Shaheed brought us as I had him in several lineups last week. I'm going to go back to the well right here on Shaheed. Okay. Diggs coming off 2 nice weeks. Emotional game in Buffalo. I'm not sure I want to play Diggs. I'll play him in some stacks if I have enough Drake May stacks. But as far as this particular lineup, I'm not going to use him. Okay. But we are going to do something on the other side. We're going to play 2 pieces on this other side. And we're going to be monitoring this closely, right? Come here. Going to be monitoring. He does have some news that Mark hurt his ankle in practice Wednesday. Whoa, this is a new injury. Wow, it's a little something. Okay, so we're just going to put a placeholder in right now based on just that news. I'm going to play my boy, Kendre Miller. So we got 2 run backs, Kendre Miller, Shaheed with Drake May, Hunter Henry. Yep, we're going to leave it just like that. I'm not going to play a receiver for New England's particular lineup. And we're going to go to another running back who we love this week. Our top running back play this week is this guy. He's my poster boy. In case you checked it out, he's my poster boy this week. One of the 2. I always put 2 now. And so we're going to play Jacobs in this lineup somewhere. We're going to put him in the flex, or we're going to just put him right here in the running back spot. For now, put him in the RB spot. Okay? And a wide receiver who we like this week, Golden. We do like Golden. Do we want to put 2 Packers in this lineup? I'll hold off on that for now. We have 5,800 to work with. I do like the Chargers. So we're going to put Keenan Allen in this lineup. And don't forget about this guy. No. even at a soaring price of 8,700, I will still play some Puka Nacua. Yeah, never fading this dude. Rams are one of those teams where you can play a dude on the Rams every single week, and it's not a bad play. So we're going to stick with Puka one more time on the road. So we have 8,900 for our defense and flex. So we're going to focus on the flex and not worry about the defense. So as long as I can leave about 2,500 for cheap defense if I need to, we'll do that. So we're going up to about 6,500 for our flex. So let's see what that presents us. We have Kyron Williams, 2 Rams. We have Genty, 6,900. These are 2K, probably not enough for a defense. We have Brian Thomas, BTJ. We also have Tetaroa. We will have some Tetaroa. We definitely will have some Tetaroa. And one of my top plays, Judkins, we'll also have. ETN I like. Yeah, it's a tough decision. But we're going to do it this way. All right. Going to go with the third running back. Quinshon Judkins. My upset special. Cleveland beats Pittsburgh this week. So we're rolling with Quinshon Judkins. So let's go ahead and put Jacobs in the flex, as we thought about earlier, and we'll just go ahead and do it here. And now we need a defense. We got 3K to work with for the defense. Let's see. The Buccaneers against San Francisco? Not really. Did they get any sacks? They don't really get many sacks, it looks like. Got to get pressure on the quarterback to force turnovers. The Jaguars against Seattle. Seattle's taking their show on the road. Okay, I can work with that. Jacksonville gets sacks. All right, so there's a lineup and a 3 max. We got a Drake May skinny with 2 run backs. And obviously this is going to depend on some news here for Kamara, whether he's out or in. But hurting yourself in practice, usually midweek, is not a good sign for your availability, usually. So we'll go ahead and put him in right now. Kendre Miller, Rashid Shaheed, 2 run backs. The Saints, I love the Saints when they play at home. I mean, they seem to really pace things up at home. And I think that'll bring up the New England side also to run some more plays possibly in this game. So that's all we can ask for. A high-paced game. Hopefully there's points generated in that, right? So maybe a sneaky spot that we can take advantage of. Although it's 46 over under already. So Vegas maybe sees something here that we need to investigate. So I'm already on it. I'm rolling with this one. All right. And then we got Judkins, one of our top plays. Keenan Allen, the game where I think the Chargers are going to really have to throw the ball quite a bit there. Puka Nacua, never go wrong with Puka, right? Josh Jacobs closing it out in the late slate. Smash spot. And we got the Jaguars defense. There you go. Ping. All right. Let's go ahead and trolley on over to Underdog. So Underdog last week, we actually had a nice little week there. Had a pretty good sweat, actually. So, yeah, in the Underdog streets. So let's look at what happened. All right, Battle Royal. We got up to actually the 7th spot in Battle Royal. All right. So we only had 21 entries, which is about $150. And we brought back 1140 in the Battle Royal. Pretty good return. We'll take it. And we had a sweat for a while. I got up to 7th place, right? Late in the slate, actually, it was 7th place. So this was during the late games at halftime. I'm in 7th place. I'm thinking, man. And I got JSN and Laporte are still going for me. So I'm like, man, these guys can just close pretty strong here. Those 2 players. I should have a decent cash. Maybe not first place, maybe not even second, but maybe third. Third was definitely within reach where I was positioned if I get the strong finish, right? And that's always the thing, right? When you're in a sweat, you have no control over how your Blues are going to finish. And my guys, JSN and here's the lineup here: JSN and Laporta. They just didn't quite close the deal for me like I needed them to. But one of the dog bowls this year. So let's go ahead and look at a dog bowl and see if we can jump in one of those right now. Because we definitely would love to qualify for a dog bowl. I think we're halfway there. This will be halfway. I think it's week 12 or so when the dog bowl is conducted there in Kansas City. So this is week 6. We got a few more chances. Let's go ahead and shoot our shot, man. We'll go ahead and jump in a battle royal. So let's go ahead and do that. Battle royal starting shortly while the dog bowl is still trying to fill. It'll fill shortly. I may have to do 2 drafts at once. But let's go ahead and run this. We're going to run the dog bowl and the battle royal same time. All right, let's throw on a little music. Can we throw on a little music? Yeah, you know my jam. You know my jam. All right, we have the 4th pick in the battle royal. Since everybody's rankings aren't the same, so I usually get Jacobs at the 4th spot, even though I got him ranked 2nd. So yeah, I'm ecstatic about that. Jacobs has the best matchup of the week. Looking at, don't be surprised if he gets 3 touchdowns this week. I mean, really, it's that good of a spot. Very anemic Cincinnati Bengals defense. Jacobs is just going to crush. Okay, let's go. Okay, this guy's just using all his clock. Go ahead and put yourself on auto draft, man. If you can do that. Thank you. We'll take Jacobs. Another share. I think I got 50% Jacobs this week so far. Because I'm taking them all over the first round, from 2 to 5. Because anywhere from 2 to 5, I'm taking Jacobs every time. Oh, wow. I do like Kyron, too. I was definitely going to take Kyron there. I think we can still get another running back in the 3rd round if we need it. Depends on what we do here. Pickens, maybe. What's up with CeeDee Lamb? Did he practice? Did he practice? Remains sidelined at practice. Are we not worried about him? Gonna go Pickens or Ibuka. Gonna go Pickens here because I might want to correlate that game with Tetaroa. I would like to do that. Don't have any Dak so far. If he makes it to me, I'll take him. If not, don't worry about it. Go Tetaroa, play the other side. I do want a Ram. I would like a Ram. Wouldn't mind Jamar Chase. Judkins, man. I love Judkins this week. Tetaroa. I might bet in Judkins. People are slipping on Judkins, so he's slipping a little bit. So this guy has 2 backs already. Right? He can't take it back. I'm right here. He might not take Judkins. It's possible Judkins gets back to me. We're going to try it. Okay. Yeah, I knew I had a feeling he'd take that. Even though they don't have anything to pair him with. Yeah, I know it. I know how you guys do it sometimes. You just hate. Player hater alert. Player hater alert. All right, so let's try to get McBride's gonna go, I'm sure. To one of these guys is gonna take McBride. That's fine. We will gladly take Quinshon Judkins if you pass, buddy. Antoine S, Antoine 5, whatever. Okay, let's see if where's our dog ball standing. 9 out of 12, 11 out of 12. All right. Okay, Antoine 5, don't take my boy. I want Judkins. But we'll take this guy. And this guy. And this guy. And this guy. Oh, he took Herbert already. I don't want any receivers then if he took Herbert. Dawg both starting soon. Let's see what pick I got in the dog ball. Brian Thomas. Walker. Oh, we got Judkins. Love that move. Okay, so now we just need a quarterback tight end. Dog ball starts 25 seconds. Let me set my cue. Oh, we got one in the dog bowler. We're rolling with Jacobs, man. No doubt about it. We're going with Jacobs. I love that game environment. Don't really like that game environment for Indianapolis, so we're going to take Jacobs. Yes. All right. Two more picks. Quarterback and a tight end is all we need. All right. Quarterback, tight end. Who we going with? So we have Pickens, Tetra. Are we going to do it? We're going to go with Bryce? Do we go with Bryce? Or do we go with Mac and Tonjes? Mac J. Tonjes. Purdy ain't playing. Mac J. Tonjes, or do we go Bryce versus that sorry? Yeah, we're going to go Bryce, man. Versus that sorry Dallas defense. Yeah. Let's do that. Bryce. And maybe we go Tonjes. Everybody's on the Waller train. I'm not feeling it this week. I think there's a fallback for Waller. Hunter Henry. Juan? Nah, too many tight ends over there now. Too many guys. All right, we'll take one of these guys. Tonjes, Waller, Hunter. I like Tonjes actually a lot. Got 11 targets last week. Yeah, going Tonjes. All right, let's get over to our dog bowl. Let's see what's happening. 9 picks away from the dog bowl pick. Let's see what's going on over here. This is what the board looks like so far. Hook Nicole went number 2 to GPNGC. Hubens, who already has a seat, took CMC at 3rd. Best Ball Viper. JSN, he's on the clock now. Okay. All right, 1 pick away. Let's see what we want to do. We may want to get at least 1 receiver here. No quarterback's been taken up. Quarterbacks are kind of all the same maybe this week, in my opinion. I don't have to have Dak. I do love me some Herbert, though. Yeah, let's do it. Herbert QJ. So we went Herbert QJ, in case you missed that. No, I didn't share my tab. No, Herbert and Quentin Johnson. We already had Johnson. So we got the little skinny stack of the Chargers, which I think they're going to probably pass quite a bit this week since they don't have their big workhorse back this week. Hampton is dinged up. Probably going to miss minimum 4 weeks, maybe even longer. Okay, we're at the turn here. 3-4 turn. How many quarterbacks? 2 quarterbacks have been taken. 3 quarterbacks. Running backs starting to thin out, obviously. It's 10-game slate. That's usually what can happen on these shorter slates, right? Running backs will thin out pretty quickly because you can always get the receivers later who at least have a pretty decent role. So taking these quarterbacks and or running backs a little earlier is usually how things go in these dog bowls. So there's another quarterback goes off the board, but we don't have to worry about quarterback. We just need to worry about running back, wide receiver, tight end. If we want a second back, I don't know. Because guys like Michael Carter are already been drafted. Might have a strategy here. Let me see. We take the running back, like a Kamara, if he gets to me. And in the event that Kamara is ruled out, we can get the first swap possibly because I don't see anybody who looks like they may be out so far. So if we get the first running back swap, then we can get his backup, Kendre Miller, who I actually love. So we're going to play that angle right here for sure. So hopefully he gets to me, and I can do that. Yeah, going Kamara. Let me put him in my queue already. Waller. If this guy doesn't take a tight end, we can get Waller. Yeah, we'll take Waller. Waller, Kamara. Some of the other players, we'll just put them on our queue just in case we get a shot. We only have one more pick after this, but I don't think they're going to take Kamara. Thank you. All right, we'll go ahead and do it. That's our strategy. Kamara may be ruled out. If not, he's in a good spot, so we'll take him anyway. So we got Waller, Kamara. And if Kamara's ruled out, we bump up Kendre Miller and get the replacement. And he should have a full workload if Kamara's out, right? That's how we think. Got to strategize, man. We're trying to get there, man. And I think that's a pretty good strategy with this news that just got released on Kamara. So, again, that was one of our focuses that we had talked about earlier. Talked about how we got to be able to react properly and correctly to this news that we get in. As we gather this information, this intel, we got to be able to say, hey, man, let's decipher what do I need to do that can give me an edge, possibly this competition. This is a potential edge. All right. We can use on this kind of a build. We got 1-2-1-2 or 1-2-1-1. So we need a receiver to close it out. Pearsall is pretty much dead this week. Hey, this guy might have some life this week with Flacco in the saddle now, right? Nobody's drafting him probably. Why not? T. Higgins, let's do it. Get to me, please. Who else? Butte long shot, correlating with the New Orleans play I just picked up. Why not? Tennessee, Ridley, Manor. Why not? Trey Tucker. Why not? Got some options. Really like T. Higgins, actually. And I like Shaheed. I don't mind taking 2 New Orleans plays at home against New England. But I think I want this guy here. In case they fall behind and have to really toss that ball around. Flacco can get these guys to rock, man. We already got Jacobs. So, nice little correlating piece. Late game, too. It's important to have those late minutes, you know. When I did have that sweat, you know, I had JSN and Laporta both going late for me. And you can see there's a lot of teams climbing, right? The chase teams. You know, he wasn't doing anything until the second half. All of a sudden, these chase teams started coming up. A few of them knocked me down, even. So, when you're building lineups and doing these drafts here on Underdog and building lineups on Underdog, on DraftKings, you need to be aware that late minutes matter. You know, you don't want to be stagnant. You might have had a great team, right? Like I had a team on Underdog in the Battle Royal that scored like 135, almost 100. It's got no more minutes left, right? So yeah, so I'm sitting at $7,500 over the course of the late games. That $7,500 lineup. Boop, 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 boop. Just kept dropping. It ends up cashing like $50, right? Because I didn't have any late minutes. So yeah, it's important to have those late minutes when you're trying to take down these contests. An early lineup is usually never going to hold unless you just smack the mess out of every play You just had the nuts that nobody can catch up to that. But usually that's not going to happen. The late slate is usually going to bring you a couple players that will outdo some of those early games players, and then you get passed up because everybody's is drafted all the same players. A lot of these players that got drafted are in already these lineups, right? Oh, they took T. Higgins? Yeah, that's okay. Do we go Iron Manor against the Raiders? I don't think that's a bad play there. Take Iron Manor against the Raiders. Another late game, right? We'll take it. Iron Manor. All right. So there we have it. Another dog bowl in the books. We got Justin Herbert, Josh Jacobs, Alvin Kamara with the end goal of, if he's ruled out, we take his backup, Kendre Miller, who should have a full-time role with Kamara out. But if Kamara's in, it's a pretty good matchup for Kamara if he's in there. So we like that either way. And we got QJ to pick with Justin Herbert, Alec Iron Manor as a late game play on the road against the exploitable Raiders defense. And we got Darren Waller correlated with that skinny stack of Herbert and QJ. There we go. Dog bowl. Let's get our seat. Book it. Okay. Let's go back over to DraftKings one more time. Let's take that YOLO shot in a large field GPP build, okay? The $3 800K play action, which has 317,000 entries. Okay, so with this build, I want to start out with my core plays. Some of my core plays that I want to build around. I'll get to the stack last, actually. So this guy is definitely one of my core plays for the week. He's my second poster boy. That's Tetairoa McMillan. Right? Okay. Another core play that we're looking at. Let's see, who do we want to put? We like this guy, man. We just can't get away from him. Josh Jacobs. But instead of the flex, we're going to put him in the RB position this time because we're going to go with a 3-receiver build. How about that? And another wide receiver that we want to connect with this week is Marvin Harrison. Why? I'm a narrative kind of a guy. And he's going back to Indianapolis where his father played. Maybe there's something to it. Just so Kyler is not on his Call of Duty game and all night, let's just go ahead and lock in, Kyler. We need you. We need you this week, okay? Marvin Harrison. All right. So another core play that we have at the running back spot is a round, right? Kyron Williams. He's definitely in our core play this week. And let's see, what stack do we want to build? Oh, let's go ahead and just get a defense in here. I think I want to pay down for a defense this time. So let's look at all the cheap defenses that are available to us. Why not this one? The first one I touched, the Browns. This is my upset of the week, and I think can contain the Steelers offense, make a couple turnovers, get some sacks. Who knows? We're going with the cheap Browns. All right, so that is 5,600 average for a stack and some players. The stack we want to build. Do we want to stack any of these guys we've already put in here? Or do we want to go with a different quarterback in a different game? Yeah, let's do that. Different quarterback, different game. Godwin? Did you say Godwin is hurt? Let's check that out because I got an angle if Godwin is hurt. Godwin. What's going on with you, sir? Get well soon. But he didn't participate today. Okay. We're going to do it anyway. We're rolling with this guy. The Baker Man. The Baker Man. The Baker Man. Baker Man. The Baker Man. And we're going to put his receiver, his top receiver in the flex. That'd be this guy, Egbuka. Do we go with another Packer? Matthew Golden? Calvin Ridley? Let's go Calvin Ridley. Tight end, 3,900. Tonjes? Yeah, Tonjes is a run back. All right, there we go. So, last lineup build here for this week's strategy session. We rolling out a Baker skinny with a run back. So we got Baker Mayfield, Egbuka, late game heroics. We're looking for those late game spikes to bump us up the charts, man. We love that. And then we ran it back with Tonjes on the other side, who's actually been filling in pretty well for Kittle here. I mean, once Kittle comes back, he goes back to irrelevancy. But in the meantime, 3,700 tight end, give us maybe 6-7 catches, possibly. Hopefully gets in the end zone. Yeah, we like that correlation there. Then we go with Josh Jacobs, another late game play there. So we got Josh Jacobs and we got Kyron Williams, one of our top plays of the week for the Rams against atrocious defense that they got there in Baltimore right now. Then we got Tetaroa, one of our poster boys of the week, he and Josh Jacobs. So we put them together here. And we're going to go with a narrative here with Marvin Harrison returning to Indianapolis where his father played. Let's go ahead and hit that one, okay? Kyler, you on board? Make sure you get our boy some balls here. Then we got Calvin Ridley, another late game on the late slate of games there. So we like this lineup. Browns, let's go Browns. Upset. All right. Thank you once again for joining us for another installation. This is our NFL Week 6 DFS strategy and lineup builds, GAB Sports. Please take the time to like, subscribe to the channel, and follow your boy, Young Moolah, on all the social media. You can find it in our profile. We thank you once again for your support. Good luck to all you grinders out there. Peace. Have a good week. See you at the top of the standings. We're out. Peace.